All right. And we are live. All right, crew. Welcome back to the soapbox. It's been a little bit. I apologize. I think almost about a month since I recorded last, so that's my apologies on that. It's been quite the wild ride. So what I want to do is spend this episode kind of recapping. Obviously, there's been a lot going on. Obviously, what I mean by that is if you follow me in some way, shape, or form, I've kind of posted about it in the past couple of weeks, or if you know me, you know there's been a good amount of change, and good change. But obviously with change comes, uncertainty, but also just a lot to do and to shore up. So that's sort of the scope here, but definitely I'm going to get back on the more consistent train, and obviously with probably some new themes, new content, just because of the nature of what I'm going to be doing. But so where to start? Well, I have moved on from Reebok CrossFit One. I'm working at Reebok for 10 years. So let's start there. That's obviously a big deal from the sense of many people that I know and have met is because of being at Reebok over the past 10 years. So it's something that's really kind of crazy to think about. And quite frankly, and when people ask me, like, how do you feel? Like, it's tough because, the gym has been closed for a year. We haven't really been in it. So I don't have that. I don't have that feeling that I probably would have felt if I were in the gym in my last week, my last day with everyone around, which, in the gym world is, that's what we do, but that's also makes it so hard because of the people. And, so I was a little removed from that, which is kind of strange, and a little sad for sure. Gosh, thinking about 10 years at Reebok and for me, it was the 10 years of, really transformative life process. And, I've been through a lot in my life. And what I mean by that is I've had a lot of experiences that have transformed me, that have changed me, that has challenged me. But the last 10 years really, if you think about what happens in 10 years, it's a crazy time frame because, I was a kid when I walked into Reebok, when I was, I drove from Albany, which is where I was living with Marin, out here to Boston to be, get signed as an athlete essentially. And I remember, I was telling my class the other day, like I had an Under Armour backpack and I had to tape over the Under Armour sign because I was so nervous about coming into obviously their headquarters and with that. And I remember coaching a class there, which was awesome. And, all of these things that, I remember coaching a class, and at that class, there are members that I literally coached this past year, which is so cool. In that sort of just guest coaching appearance. I remember saying, hey, if you ever need support, or if you ever need, someone to help coach, let me know. Just kind of throwing it out there. Next thing you know, I'm moving out to Boston. I'm coaching at Reebok CrossFit One. And I'm also training for the CrossFit Games. I was 1 year deep into the CrossFit Games at this point after the 2010 Games. CrossFit was, and at that point, it's very different than it is now. It wasn't I think some people now, it's they only see the unbelievable commitment and things that people have to do. But back then, we were we're competing, but because why not? Right? That was the concept. And certainly if you made it 1 year, it was not even a thought process that you wouldn't even want to do it the next year or not have the level of commitment. It was just, let's do this. So competing for the CrossFit Games and then coaching at this gym, and it was raw. CrossFit was raw 10 years ago in general, but certainly here where, it was a warehouse and some employees and a company that was, just signed a partnership with this, this newer, fitness company, which is really cool. So, it's, as we as we grew and as I grew, it's like it was just organic, and I think that was one of the biggest things. I know it's like a buzzword, but the growth was super organic at Reebok, and but it was also grassroots, where I like literally walking the halls of the headquarters to get people to come to the gym. And you take best practices from, and you hear now, and I used to hear this a lot, like everyone's like, oh, like, well, Reebok is different than other gyms. Well, I'm like, yeah, it was obviously different. It was the headquarters, and we could do unique things, but like getting members was the same hustle, was the same like grind of, like no one was just walking into the gym. Certainly then there was a time we had an explosion point, absolutely, like everybody did. But I remember just like Denise, Thomas, and myself, like walking the hallways of Reebok, and just like essentially like just shaking everyone's desk, for figuratively speaking, to come try CrossFit. We're here, getting to know them, like eating lunch in the building, and getting to know people, saying hello, and just slowly developing trust, and then over time getting more and more people to want to come. We knew the program obviously is effective, but we had to get people there to prove it. And then we had to get people there to prove our existence as well. That was I think that's something that it can't be forgotten either. So, just years of that, and just the things that we've done there, like, it's almost like we did so many amazing things. We started to take it for granted. Obviously we are a beautiful facility in Canton, and then obviously in the Seaport, which is where we just left, and but like, we went from like one room with just like a rig and some dumbbells on the ground to a 30,000 square foot world-class facility. That if anyone had been there, it was a really special place. And we built that literally it was just like, again, what was cool is it was like, it was followed the trajectory of CrossFit gyms, of like, we just grew as we grew, and it got more sophisticated as we got sophisticated. We would do all company events. Gosh, in the beginning, I posted this picture on my Instagram of coaching literally the entire company through the overhead squat. It was my crazy, stupid idea of, hey, let's coach everyone at overhead squat. I didn't think through buying 1,000 PVC pipe, so I had to buy 500 and cut them in half. That was a project in and of itself. But it's like doing those things and inviting all of the local coaches and doing all this local outreach for people to come and support. And it was just like we were at the point where people were like, of course I'll show up and do this. Like the CrossFit, like it was such a beautiful piece. And this is something in my new role is like, though that's to me the gold standard of just the community, the people. I remember literally like we would say, hey, we need help. We're putting 1,000 people through a workout, and we're going to teach them how to squat. And the coaches in our coaches' head were like, well, we need more people to walk around and tell people to push their knees out, lift their chest up, blah, 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 blah. And we did. And people showed up and they were great. And these are things that, it's just, we did this a lot. I remember we did the Spring Cup, which was our event that we did. I think our one and only like really big external event. And it was and of course it was the Spring Cup, and it was like the coldest, rainiest day ever in spring, in like May or something like that. But I just all of the volunteer support, we just on this huge event, which was awesome. Our training grounds event for those that were tracking back then, the CrossFit, the Reebok Cross One training grounds. We invited all the CrossFit Games athletes, and myself and Connor Murphy, we busted our butt to try to make this really special event. And it was, we rented vans to drive around to all different places. We went, swimming and running and all over the place. We had the most world-class coaches coming in. These are, it's like, you see a lot of people doing all this stuff now, but gosh, we did this like 5 years ago almost now, like 6 years ago. And it was, the concept was simple. Like, we just love CrossFit. We love our people. We want to create a cool opportunity. And throughout all of this, it cannot be understated that Reebok supported all of this, and it was obviously beneficial for Reebok from the sense of having a brand at the epicenter of this, but also, say people want to say what they want about big brands, but the respect and admiration for Reebok that I have and always will have is just unmatched, because they always supported this, and they always supported our community. All of these events were community based. We were never, selling footwear or apparel. We were just doing CrossFit and supporting the community, and that was really special. And gosh, like all these, like I remember we did an 80-person on-ramp, our biggest mistake ever. Everyone's like, what's your biggest mistake? Well, when we were like, people kept signing up, we're like, let's bring them all in. It was like, I remember looking at Denise, and she was like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know, bring them all in. I don't think our retention was that good. Our churn was pretty high on that on-ramp, but the moment was really cool. We would do these huge events and workouts when guests would come, and we'd invite everyone, and we'd have I have pictures of we had like a 50-meter turf almost in the gym, and if not longer, and we had rowers set up pretty much from end to end, and everyone on the rower, and then everyone in the front of the gym, and it was just so cool because it was, and this was just a relatively normal occurrence, and just coaches from all over would come and support and help, and previous coaches, part-time coaches from other gyms. It was a non-stop revolving door, and it led to really another piece that we think of Reebok is we have always had an amazing staff, the best staff in the world, if I'm being a little biased, but because people would just show up, like the names of people that you would recognize. I just remember, Larry Thomas, who's the Northeast rep now. He's seminar staff. He's a gym owner. I remember he just showed up to the gym and wanted to learn more. And we said, of course, all of these people, like Pete O'Donnell, coached for us full time for years. Now he's a Boston firefighter. He just showed up to the gym and was just watching. Next thing you know, we became a full time coach, and worked for us full time forever. And so you have all of these things, and and then we developed a coaching development program for this, essentially, of people want to learn how to become better coaches after level 2s, and we just started to bring in all, coaches started to come, and these are things that we did at Reebok and Reebok CrossFit when it was, and these are the unforgettable moments. And and here's a whole nother thing I easily forget about. There was a moment when the Reebok CrossFit gyms around the world were just they were brand new. The partnership, that initiative was pretty high, and we were traveling the world going to all these gyms and supporting and melding best practices. And I just every one of us had a different market. It was so special. Literally, there's not a place in the world that I haven't really been to for CrossFit, whether it's for traveling for seminars or for, market support for our gyms from a Reebok perspective. And it was a really amazing thing because, I got to go to different headquarters and put different, headquarters in Russia and India and Italy, all of these places of just learning and learning about our the brand, the people. But I met so many people at when a global company is hard to grasp because you're all over the world. So I really had this unique opportunity to meet everybody. And not many people get that opportunity to do that, and I don't take that lightly. And we would always have CrossFit events, fitness events at huge meetings, when these big, global marketing meetings for Reebok. And so myself and my team would be out there, and we would, put everyone through it. And these are serious meetings, and we would put, we'd do one big event, and then we would host workouts and classes every day, because we would be in different areas of the country and the world, and we would obviously still want to, have the ethos of our brand at these events. So there we were. Gosh, Barcelona, Spain, and Miami, and I'm sure I'm forgetting all sorts of places. Phoenix, some really fun events for anyone that was there, and then we'd also, we try to pull on the local coaches in the community, and it was great because we met people, they were supportive, and just, I remember going to local gyms because, oftentimes we'd have some of our sponsored athletes, which obviously were CrossFit athletes, so we'd able to go in there as well and, do some really fun stuff. And, it's and I could go on and on about all this amazing stuff, and but obviously what it boils down to is the members, right? It's our gym certainly, like, so then we moved, right? So we moved from the Canton Place headquarters, which a lot of people are familiar with, to the last 3.5, 4 years of, at the Seaport in Boston. And that was an amazing move because we, myself and my team became in charge of the entire fitness facility, not just CrossFit. We learned so much. We built a gym. We literally had the opportunity to build a gym from 2 floors, 30,000 square feet to, again, I would say one of the most beautiful world-class facilities you could ever walk into. And there's not a level of fitness that wasn't happening there, from CrossFit to open gym to spin to boxing to group classes to yoga. I mean, we had everything. We were able to be a part of that. And so we really expanded our skill set, who we worked with, but also like our members, like we were, I was able to meet so many more people because obviously, anyone can do CrossFit, but it's not for everybody, which is understood and great. But but in turn with that, met so many more people. More people came to the gym, and then we, a lot of people started to do CrossFit that we would have never been able to, maybe reach us because of, hey, I'm seeing everybody now. And, it's unique. Like when you walk into a gym, you see people doing CrossFit. Sometimes you raise an eyebrow and say, maybe I want to try that. And we had a lot of that, which is really cool. And just, that opportunity to reach people and connect with people is something that, I got a lot of emails from Reebok employees and members over the past week. And, sit there and it was an emotional reading of the emails and responding because, it's easy to forget the impact as coaches that we have on people. It just is. It's easy to forget that. And, obviously when you do something, when you affect someone's life, it matters. And then, but the key is to keep pushing and keep moving on and just not dwell on it. Right. But, as coaches, we try to keep, focusing on, them and not us. It's not about us as coaches. And, so for this moment this week, it was about me a little bit, which is weird and strange, but, for me emotionally, but it was really powerful to hear the fact that some of the things that we did at Reebok really affected people's lives. And when people write in an email, in a text, in a note that say, you changed my life, you saved my life, you hear these things and it's like, there's a lot of talk about this stuff out there. And I know we hear that, but again, it's easy not to feel it, not to let it in. But when you're reading it through, I was reading through a lot of these emails with my wife and responding. It's like, it was really emotional, really powerful. And that to me is obviously my favorite part of the last 10 years of Reebok, and just the people and what we were able to do. And we had the opportunity to really affect people. And the relationships, some strong, some just, new relationships, some just relationships just in general, but all of those relationships matter. And that's probably, like if you're like, what are you going to miss the most? Just the people, right? And I cannot thank the brand of Reebok enough for supporting and shepherding that journey. A lot of people talk about big business. People are super negative, which stresses me out, which I don't really understand. But, the fact that this was an initiative of theirs for 10 years and they never really wavered, really special. And it gave me the opportunity to do what I wanted to do, what I loved, and it gave the employees an opportunity to change their life. As much as they said I did theirs, I shepherded the journey that they decided to start, and that's a really powerful thing. And I was really lucky to be able to be a part of that. And obviously my staff, working with most recently, Denise and Kevin and Connor and Caitlin, and we have GC, we have all these people, and Ruben, and and then in years past with Spencer, and oh my goodness, with so many amazing staff, Jared and MDV and Mel and just Megan, so many, the staff goes on. And I mean, that's, and where they're at now is amazing, owning gyms, running gyms, doing something completely different in different fields, but they're all amazing. And gave our community and gym everything they had, and that's something that, again, I do not take lightly. So that's sort of the that's the trip down memory lane a little bit. And I think for me now it's like, what's next? Well, I see I'm at 20 minutes or so I'll cut it. And I'll do another podcast on my next steps, which is the director of U.S. gym operations at CrossFit LLC, which is really awesome. This position is literally, from a positional perspective, if you could ask me, well, what are you in charge of? What do you do? Everyone asks me that. It's like, well, my responsibility is, within that market, is to, support the affiliates, be there for them, and make them, give them what they want, what they need, be the conduit from home office to them, and then grow and enhance our community from affiliate gym perspective. And that's a huge opportunity, a huge responsibility. As an affiliate owner myself, I get it, I know it, and being around and traveling around and seminars, like, I'm really excited to listen, learn, and grow and develop and deliver, and really dive in, really go all in on this. I'm really excited. So, a lot of people are reaching out to me in support, and that's something that really means a lot. So on this next podcast, I'll dive into that a little bit and also talk about some of the stuff that we're working on, some of the feedback. But I will when I tell you I don't take this new position or role lightly, I mean that, and I'm going to give it everything I have, and we're going to do some really special things, mark my words. So I'm really excited. So, all right, guys, we'll be back on the Soapbox more consistently. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging in, and drop me a note. Thank you.